Hey Levy Wanderers, Lady Etheria. Today I wanted to go over tips and tricks and how to get into fishtails. So, first thing we're going to do is actually talk about our feet. The leg position and hip position for this move is incredibly important and I think overlooked a lot of times when we're trying to learn it. So, I am left-handed, so I'm going to be having my right leg or my non-string hand leg facing forward, okay? And then my string hand or left leg, I'm actually gonna have my foot at about a 45-degree angle. So I'm facing here. And we're then going to be having our legs about shoulder width apart, so not too far, comfy spot. And we're going to actually be putting our weight into our back hip and foot. So we're gonna be holding most of the weight on this foot, which allows this one to pivot and move a little bit. So, next, I suggest you guys, to start out, get used to having your string wound up for a minute. I don't care how you get it there, just get it out of the way so we can kind of drill this without the string being a nuisance. Next, go ahead and put the Levi wand at basically your wrist. It's going to be the V sort of point where your hand starts to hook up and comes into your wrist, right? I usually sit right between that wrist bone and my hand, quite frankly. This trick also is actually a balance trick. So, with this in this position, get used to just balancing the wand on your hand. Where does it need to sit on my hand to maintain that balance? As far as left and right, up and down maybe a little bit, side to side, okay? So get used to just having it balance on your wrist and being able to move it around and control that space. Really helpful tip. Another one from your balance space to get used to the motions we're going to be doing is I suggest basically rocking this back and forth between your pinky and your thumb. So again, the wand is sitting on my wrist, and then we're going to rock behind us and it's go to our thumb. We're gonna rock forward and it's gonna come to our pinky. Move your hips with this one. Sway this back and forth. This just isn't your hand, it's all in the hips. So this is good balance control and getting used to what's actually going to be happening to the wand when we get into the fishtail. Okay. Next, we'll get into motion a little bit, right? So maintaining your feet, go ahead and give yourself a check again, right? Non-string hand, leg facing forward, string hand, leg facing about 45 degrees. So let's get it how we would actually get into this, quite frankly. And usually people get into it with a wrist wrap. Lots of other options we can talk about later, but a good way to start this is to get into it using a wrist wrap. So as a reminder, wrist wrap being a fishtail, or excuse me, a contact staff move, is going to open up over our hand, thumb side, and roll over, okay? So that's actually what we're going to drill to practice getting into this. So start with your hand below the center of the wand, ever so slightly, and having your arm behind your hip. Move back on camera a teeny bit more. And then we're going to just go ahead and let the wand roll over our hand and lift up as we come forward. So we're going to go from behind our hip to about the center of our body. And we're going to lift up as we do that. So roll, lift. Let it fall off your hand as you're doing this. We're just getting used to what this part of it's going to feel like. So drill that a few times. Okay. The next thing I will tell people is from that position, you might want to get used to what this feels like a little bit before you go into fully attempting this unassisted. So we know now that the front of it feels like this, and is going to kind of get to this position here, right? Thumb up. Just remember when we came over here, we had the thumb, pinky back and forth. So now we got one end of the wand up, and then we're going to be rocking back and lifting pinky and going back the other way. Again, hips. Use your hips. But put two fingers on that wand to get used to what this is supposed to feel like, okay? That is a good way to also drill this a little bit. And then because this also puts you in a slightly awkward body position where you're not necessarily going to have your second hand here, if you want to do another drill to what would be close to what it's like when you're actually in this trick, hair rubber band over your wrist and over the wand. Yes, it's a total cheat, but if you're really struggling with this, it might be a way to help you get used to what that momentum is going to be like without this other hand being in the way. Okay? So I'll take that guy off just so it's not deterring from everything else. Then we can start getting into what's this really going to be like. So the motion, again, we were doing, if we're take the wand off, which I like to show too, right? We're having our hand flat to kind of start, and then we're starting behind us because we've just done that wrist wrap to get in, and then we're lifting forward, reversing and lifting back. Forward, back. Thumb forward, pinky back. Thumb forward, pinky back. The weight is in my right leg, so I can pivot this one in the front to allow that kind of sway pattern. You can even do this without moving your arm and just moving your hip when you get more advanced during fishtails, or add, the hand there for a little bit of flair and, nice smoothie sassiness. So, back to adding our wand to that drill. So now we've got we know it's gonna go forward and then back. Forward, back. Pinky, thumb. Pinky, thumb. Okay? And this has just got a scooping motion as it's coming forward and a almost patting backwards as we're going backwards. But again, as this is a balance trick, it's all about maintaining the balance on that wrist to be able to get this around. Then you can get into things where shifting your weight will actually get you into forward. So, I hope those tricks help you guys. Again, I'm Lady Etheria. I hope to see you on Thursdays at the Levi virtual meetup. We meet at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at meet.jit.si/Levi Flowjam. Thank you guys so much. See you soon.